Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. Just a second, I need to update my title. And tonight, we journey to Dawn Trail. We're probably not going to make it very far because we're getting kind of a late start, but that's fine. So, let's dive on in. Alright, we are live, and we are on our way to Charlian.
Where do we need to go?
The Baldesion Annex.
Yep, KJ and I are still already standing over here.
My load screens are really terrible.
Yeah.
Welcome back. I've just had word from Marinville. It seems he's managed to secure passage to Tyrrell aboard a guild ship vessel. Why don't you wait in the main hall while I go and inform your travel companions? It should only take a moment. Oh, we have new quest accepted music. Ashika gave us the good news. We've made ready to set sail at a moment's notice. The only one yet to arrive is Aaronville himself. You're all here. It took some persuasion, but the Gleaners Guild ship has granted us places aboard a vessel bound for Tyrrell. There'll be other passengers, researchers, and artisans and the like, so we'll need to share deck space. That's fine, Aaronville. I doubt anyone expected we'd have a ship all to ourselves. They're not casting off just yet, so if you have any lingering concerns, now is the time to voice them. I wouldn't call it a concern, but everyone's still clear on what it is we'll be doing in Tyrrell, yes? We've not forgotten. The nation of Heliolal is in the midst of deciding its next ruler, As your chosen allies, we shall assist you during the rite of succession and support your bid to become the Dawn Servant. In addition to that, Alpha Node and I have another objective. As part of its reconstruction, Garlemald seeks ways to reconcile and re-engage with its neighbors. By visiting Tural, we hope to learn more about how its myriad cultures interact with one another, how they find common ground, develop stronger ties, the sort of insights that might help our friends in Ilsabard. But we'll pursue this goal in our own time. You can be assured that we'll give the contest all due attention. That's all I ask. Otherwise, you're welcome to do as you like. You wanted to find out about your grandfather, right, Kryl? Yes, as far as we could determine, he's from the old missive I found. He had been tasked with investigating the Golden City by your father, the Dawn Servant. Yet, oddly enough, we have no record of that investigation in our archives, and nothing to explain the earring which accompanied the letter. Thus, for reasons both official and personal, I should very much like to get to the bottom of this mystery. I'm sure there'll be a chance to speak with Papa. You can get your answers right from the source. I look forward to meeting him. In any case, you're not the only one with an interest in the City of Gold. The Golden City is a children's bedtime story. I am part of this expedition only because the Third Promise has commanded that I serve as guide. Still playing the part of the stoic servant, I see. What of you? Don't you dare tell me you've changed your mind. Going with option 2. We won't make you Dawn Servant by standing around here and talking about it. Ah, a man of action. Right then. If all of you are still committed to the journey, then I say we make ready to depart. Eager as they are, the others have already left for the harbor. We're not in danger of missing the boarding call, but perhaps we should be on our way as well. That's a big boat.
That's huge.
Savoring the moment? I can feel your excitement, your eagerness to explore the unknown.
Well, for once, the fate of the world doesn't rest on our shoulders. We might even get a chance to enjoy ourselves.
Do not be so quick to relax. Oh, Tural may seem but a short sail away on a map. The vast seas between brim with peril. The treacherous waters of Shade's Triangle alone have claimed countless vessels. Even following the safe route plotted by Admiral Bufiswin herself, this will be no pleasure cruise.
I think that might be the first time I've ever seen that word pronounced.
Perhaps, but my voyage here was uneventful enough. Disappointingly so.
Either way, the two of you have first-hand experience, which will be of great comfort in the days ahead, I'm sure.
Aye, it's nothing new to us.
All aboard! We're casting off!
It's time. I trust you have everything you need? And so does our ship cast off from the docks. We sail west, as Cattenram did some 80 years past, bound for the New World, known to her children as the continent of Tural.
Just wait, Papa. When this contest is said and done, it'll be your daughter who sits the throne. Me! Woklamat!
Smooth sailing so far?
Aye, so far so good. But this sea, she's a fickle one. Calm one moment, blowing a gale the next.
I'll take my rest while I can.
We left port what seems an age ago now, and we've seen naught but open water ahead. I knew Tural was far, but it's another thing to really know. Speaking of which, some of our fellow passengers have made this trip before. Several times, in fact. I was able to learn a few things about Tuliolal and the right of succession.
Tuliolal.
Since we still have a long way to go, why not have a chat with them yourself? I'm sure you have questions of your own. Did you look out across these same waters, Grandfather?
Oh, this will be my first visit to Tural. I'm not even gonna try. I was working at Estame's Aesthetics in Ul'dah, you see, but my employment with them came to an end. That's why I visited Charlian in hopes of starting over. While I was attempting and failing to find a new job, I seized the chance to board this vessel when I overheard room for another passenger had suddenly opened up. I'm told the Dawn Servant welcomes all, regardless of origin, and so Tuliolal seemed like the perfect place to begin anew. Hopefully things will be better this time. I suspect this guy's gonna die. My story? Well, since you asked, I wanted to retrace the historic journey of the great Ketterman. You know, the first Eorzean to set foot in Tyrrell, almost 80 years ago. The Mumulja's leader is said to have welcomed Ketterman with open arms, and sent him home with a bounty of silverware as a token of their friendship. But the real treasure was the crops he brought back. The popos, tomatoes, and corn, which spread across the Eorzea like wildfire. His grand adventure led to a culinary revolution. The tales say Ketterman returned to Tyrrell several times after that, but his ship vanished during his last recorded voyage, and he was never heard from again. That even a seasoned explorer like him could meet such an end is a testimony to the ocean's peril. You know, I was under the impression it was bad luck to talk about the ship sinking while you're sailing on a ship. An adventurer, I presume? Merchant myself, based in Ul'dah. Specialty, imports and exports. Eorzean and Tyrrell both. If this is your first crossing with salt, as they say, do remember that the social mores of Eorzea are not necessarily the same as those over yonder. Consider this. It is not uncommon for the various races to be referred to instead of by the names of certain clans. For the Makote, the Retsaro, the Hrothgar, the Zabral, not because every member of the clan of a given clan is the same race, mind, but because many individuals of said race are associated with that clan. A fair assumption in certain cases, but take care not to give offense. Not quite sure what she meant, but okay. I'm told this vessel has been equipped with a barrier generator to protect it from storms. A reassuring thought, though I nevertheless pray there will be no need for it. Yeah, you still can't swim, Alpha Node. You want to make a wager? We're taking bets on who will be sat next in the Dawn Servant's shiny chair. There are 4 claimants in the right of succession. Your young Wuklamad is being one of them. But from what a Mumulja bloke was telling us, the other 3 all strong contenders. Not too many keen to risk their coin on the third promise. Did you learn anything of interest? Oh, I hadn't heard about the clan names. We should have Wuklamot and Erenville teach us what the ones we should know. Actually, it's getting a little chilly up here on deck. Let's all gather in the cabin. Suddenly, storm.
We're in for a proper storm, it seems.
That's what I thought.
How's your stomach? Any better?
I don't know what you mean. I don't get seasick. I'm just feeling a little nauseous is all.
Isn't that what seasickness is?
Erenville, you were born in Tyrrell, yes? Do many Viera live there?
The Shatona, as my people are called, have settlements mainly in the north, in Shaktural.
And your family?
I know nothing of my father, not even his name. As for my mother...
When the teeth of a nomads reef that sail for the last snaps!
Oh dear.
Only elders have watch! This wind's too strong to take any sound! I'm falling off the mast! We need help! Get in below decks!
should lend what aid we can.
Probably a bad idea, Alfnode. You're not a sailor, you'll get in the way.
I have not seen the ocean rage with such fury before or since. The heaving waves.
They managed to get the
tossed our
sails
ship
reefed
about
at
like a
least.
toy, sending sailors tumbling. The dauntless Alizé, quick to the rescue, was almost lost to the sea herself. Meanwhile, our champion rushed to deploy the vessel's magical defenses, and thereby shield us from the lightning. What an extraordinary life he must lead to be able to operate such a device with practiced ease. Woklama, too, threw herself into the rescue efforts, though one might have mistaken her for another soul in distress. By the time the
Evening, Kyle.
unruly
Evening,
seas
Frost.
had calmed,
Sorry, I wasn't watching
our
the chat.
strength was all but spent, and we had yet to even glimpse the shores of Tural. In retrospect, of course, that battle against the storm would prove a fitting prelude to the coming contest for the throne.
It's an awful big room for a boat. But this is an awful big boat.
Morning. Joining us for some fresh air? Seems my belly has settled along with the weather, but I'll feel much better once we're on solid ground. Ugh. Can't be much farther now, can it?
Yeah, we've seen some birds, so we should be getting pretty close to shore.
Seabirds. Land must be near. You need only hold out a while longer.
For a dark moment, I thought the ocean might swallow us. Glad to have my pessimism proven wrong.
In other good news, I examined the sailor who took a fall, and he's faring well. I'm sure he'll make a full recovery.
Good news indeed. If all's well, then we needn't delay in launching the landing boat. Ships have to lower anchors some way from shore. Too close, and they risk having their underbellies ripped open by the reefs that crowd Tuliola's coasts.
Thanks for bringing us all this way.
Ha! We only did what we were paid to do. Couldn't hardly set you adrift halfway. If anything, it should be us thanking you for helping us through that beast of a storm. As a matter of fact, everyone's starting to fancy your chances in the contest. At this rate, we won't be able to lay wagers no.
Then I better not let you down. Oh. Easy, stomach. Easy.
We're the last to board. If there's nothing left to say, then let's shove off, shall we?
Blue seas, clear skies, and boundless possibilities. I dare say our destination will soon be in sight.
Enjoying yourself for a change?
Oh, they're actually doing a modification of the intro cinematic? I like this.
There, look at my friends. Behold the scene of our next great adventure.
At last, we are come to the land you call the New World. To my home, Tural.
Gods, I've seen cities with an impressive mix of cultures, but this is something else.
Is that a... No. I've never seen Vanu feathers in that color before.
You'll find much here you never knew existed. There may be a sea route now, but visitors to Tulihyolal are still few and far between. And as we don't build seafaring ships, only a handful of Turali ever venture abroad.
Mamulja sellswords mostly. Those willing to play the fool sail with Lominsan merchants to secure employment in Eorzea.
I suppose that makes us a rare sight in your country.
Rare and currently undocumented. Were there some forms we should fill out, or...
I don't think this is Charlian, Kryl.
Forms? Did you forget who you're traveling with?
You are outsiders? Visitors to Tural?
I like his armor.
We are.
Our nation is soon to hold a right of succession to choose its next dawn servant. We will not abide interference from foreign agents seeking to foment trouble. What brings you to Tuli Yolal?
I can answer that. These fine people are allies in my succession bid.
Third promise. If you vouch for them, then all is well. Of course.
Please, accept our apologies.
No need to bow and scrape. That our soldiers are so diligent in their duties fills me with pride.
We'll be continuing our patrol then.
I like his armor, but I don't like his mustache very much.
Well, well. You really are a figure of authority here.
Are you suggesting I don't look the part? Anyway, first things first. I bid you welcome to Tuli Yolal.
That was a rather long cutscene.
I thought I was super, super far behind because, like, you were talking about the pronunciation of a word, and I still hadn't even seen the big ship yet.
Ah.
But then I ended up out of the cutscene faster than you, so I don't know what happened.
And I don't even know what the word you were talking about was.
The Admiral of Limsa.
Yeah, that's what I thought the one was that you were talking about. When I finally saw it, I was like, oh, okay.
It's a Welsh word, and Welsh words are long and hard to pronounce. So, I did like the little in-game rendition of the launch cinematic.
I did too. I loved that it gotta be us.
Well, despite the storm's efforts to the contrary, here we are, safe and sound. You have arrived in Tulialal. You can return to the city at any time by speaking with the swarthy sailor at Scholar's Harbor in Old Charlian. Or we could run up that hill over there and pick up that aetherite, which would probably be wise.
Yeah.
And also, I like we've done one quest and we got 1,000,000 XP out of it.
Yeah.
Right then, first things first. Still a bit queasy. No more boats for a while. I realize we've just arrived, but we should get you familiar with the city before the rite of succession begins. No arguments here. I should very much like to explore. Then, I'll guide you. Are you sure you're in any condition to do so? Aha! You were wondering who these strange folk were, so the third promise has found herself some new followers, then. Followers. Well, Clamat, are you unwell? No, not at all. Couldn't be better. The third promise does not get seasick. No, sir. As for my hand-picked entourage here, I've recruited them to help me win the right of succession. I was about to show them around the city, in fact. That sounds lovely. But a group of foreigners is going to attract attention, especially if they're in the company of the third promise. Everyone will be curious. We certainly were. Your siblings have a tendency to command a respectful distance, but you're so easy to approach. And I enjoy it so much when you do. Please, don't ever worry that you're a bother to me. You're very kind. Good day to you, third promise. They did have a point. Wuklamat is technically royalty here. Like it or not, a person of her station surrounded by this many outsiders is bound to draw a crowd. Wait, what do you mean technically? I suggest we move in 2 groups so as to attract less attention. Just technically ignoring me, then. You and Cryle can come with me. I'll take the twins, then. We'll get in touch once we've had a good look around. The voyage was hard on all of us, so take it slow and recuperate. We have time enough for that. Enjoy your wanderings. Perhaps we should wait a bit. At least until Wuklamat's nausea subsides. No need for that. Look, I'm ready to go. I'm fine now. Really. Can't stand around all day feeling sorry for myself. What with the contest looming and all. Now then, seeing as we're already here, I might as well tell you about the harbor. Ernbell already mentioned the reefs in our coastal waters, which explains why you don't see any big ships moored at the docks. Only vessels with shallow drafts can navigate the bay. Mostly small fishing boats and barges ferrying cargo up and down the rivers from inland settlements. Much of the incoming traffic is from Yoktaral, the southern landmass. The clans there produce various goods for export. These wares are unloaded here and carted off to merchant stalls in the neighboring markets. Speaking of which, Bayside Bevy should be our next stop. Wuklamat and Cryle are now accompanying you, etc., etc., etc. Yes, we understand conversation points. Okay. Don't see any marked on the map, so.
I like the music.
A little jazzier than I was expecting, but not bad. This is Bayside Bevy, Filial's largest market space. Being right on the harbor, everything from fresh fish to imported wares go directly to the shelves. Anything you want, they most likely have. Oh, right. I should mention that here in Tulial we buy things with Pel, a currency that the Pelu Pelu created. But don't worry, more and more trade is coming in from Eorzea, so most of our shops are happy to accept your guild. There's also Wachu Meki Meki, another market to the east of here, but that can wait for another time. I have other places I want to show you first. Next, we'll head back a bit. Then northwards up the stairs to a certain plaza. I can't wait to see the look on your face. I mean, it is a big, shiny aetheryte. I've got to give you credit for that. What do you think of that, eh? Goodness me, you have aetherites at Tulial? I think I told you before, but my brother, Koana, spent 3 years studying in Charlian. He fell in love with the nation and its ways, and brought back to us the knowledge of aetherite construction. Papa warmed to the idea at once, had one built immediately. Did you do the tuning thing? If you're ready to continue, we'll head down again. We'll head down again and then up a slope to the side. Right at the top is the gate which leads to Zaktaral. Let's make a stop at Bright Bloom Post on the way, though. That's the headquarters of the Lance Guard.
This was quite the incline.
Uh-huh. Well, as Wuklamot said, we'll go down and then up again. Trudging up and down all these slopes and stairs is exhausting. I understand now where Wuklamot gets her endless endurance. We have a lot of narrow, winding streets that crawl up the sides of mountains. As you can see there, though, the builders made sure the city's main thoroughfares were wide enough to accommodate wagons. City's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. I had forgotten that we needed to attune to each one.
Uh-huh, me too. I realized that about halfway up the hill. Here we are, Bright Bloom Post. The soldiers stationed here are responsible for defending Tulial and preserving the peace. The Lance Guard are led by our nation's strongest warrior, and so naturally Papa has commanded them since the beginning. At least until 3 years ago, when Zeral Jah took over as commander. The title is no empty honor. It means the first promise is considered equal to the Dawn Servant in martial strength. Meanwhile, I haven't even managed to... Well, I'll discuss my brothers and their accomplishments later. Alpha Note and Alizé should be around to hear it too. Come on, it's time I showed you the Sky Gate. It's right at the northern end of the Talon March. It's a big gate. Massive, isn't it? And on the other side is an equally massive bridge to match. Both were constructed by a race of giants, the Yokhui. Strictly speaking, Tural is actually 2 separate continents. Yaktural, the southern lands of the mother, and Zaktural, the northern lands of the father, which lie beyond the bridge. Legends say it used to be one great landmass, but long ago the 2 gods fought a titanic battle and when one threw the other to the ground, the impact was so devastating it split the continent in twain. A familiar sounding tale, I am put in mind of the conflict between Hydaelyn and Zodiark. But getting back to Zaktaral, those lands are also part of the Tulial nation, correct? That's right. Isn't my father incredible? He united the peoples of two continents into a single nation. The many clans of Tural have been at war for generations. It was only when Papa traveled the lands and put a stop to their myriad conflicts that we finally had peace. And that's the main reason I want to win the throne, so I can preserve the peace he built. But I see you're more interested in what's behind the gate than hearing about my aspirations. Crossing the bridge to Zaktaral requires a special travel pass. Unfortunately, they won't issue any new permits until the Rite of Succession is over. I promise to get you one when I'm Dawn Servant, but until then, you'll just have to wait. I'll hold you to that. I've never broken my word. Once the throne is mine, the travel permit is yours. Now, that tells me that either the whole succession thing will take place about midway through the expansion, and then events happen on the other side of this gate, or patch content happens on the other side of this gate.
Mm-hmm.
Must have covered half the city by now. Tulial is unlike any other place I visited. I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. We'll head west next, towards the Arch of the Dawn. The dirigible landing is on the way. You have dirigibles too, right? Tulial certainly doesn't want for methods of travel. We get by. Now, if you've seen enough of this area, let me know and we'll continue on. The Arch of the Dawn is on the other side of the city, so speak up if you see anything that interests you as we walk. I'm still struggling to conceive how one could construct an entire city on the side of a mountain. This was originally the site of Yakhui Temple. The giants built it when they were first making the bridge to Zaktaral to appease the god who slumbers in the giant ocean trench. After the Yakhui withdrew, the temple stood empty for centuries. So when Papa was establishing his new nation, he saw a structure he could refurbish into a palace, sitting practically in the center of Tural. He gathered artisans to do the work, and the houses they built for themselves became the foundation of the city you see today. Speaking of houses, we'll be passing through the Resplendent Quarter, the biggest residential district in Tulial. We climb these set of stairs here all the way up. The sheer scale of the palace is incredible. Of this place is incredible. I wonder what that carving at the top represents. Papa's palace is called Volok Shunsa, which roughly translates to invincible resilience. You probably want to take a closer look, but we'll be coming back later. Let's move on for now. I'm gonna go get the Aetherite anyway. Assuming I don't get blocked trying to run through the gate or something. Wait here for Zora to catch up.
Yeah, it didn't recognize one of my clicks, and so I missed finishing a quest.
No problem. So, this is the Resplendent Quarter. What manner of people live here? Oh, we have residents from all of the Yogg-Thoralt clans. Mamoja, Zabral, Pelu Pelu, Moblin, Hanu Hanu. We also have the Tanawawata, the Huetzaro, and the Setona, who moved south from their ancestral lands in Yogg-Thoralt. In essence, it's a gathering of people from every corner of Tyrol. A true representation of Tulial's diverse character. The adornments on each building contribute to the eclectic cultural aesthetic. It's all so beautiful. I'm glad you think so. Oh, we continue down the stairs.
Times like these that you get the honor of pronouncing everything.
Uh-huh. And most of these words I haven't had the game tell me how to pronounce yet, so...
Uh-huh.
I've never seen such an enormous drum. What would one even use to beat such an instrument? Drum? Giant drum? Where's the giant drum? I don't see a giant drum. Is it that? Oh, right there in front of me.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't know where it was either at first.
That big drum there is called the Dawn Herald. They play it for formal occasions, like when honoring the Landsguard's return from a dangerous duty. I tried hitting it with my axe once and ripped the skin. Earned me a proper scolding. Let me tell you, I think that was the time Papa held me upside down by the ankle.
We can get an alpaca mount at some point, I think.
Mm-hmm. And we just talk to the alpaca keep to make the little marker go away. Just like we do with the chocobo keeps.
Uh-huh.
And here are our dirigibles. Not bad, eh? I hear other nations use airships to sail the skies, but you'll only find balloons in Tulial. We have them for the exact same reason as Aetherites. Buana brought back the plans from Charlian, and Papa thought them fantastic and commissioned their construction. This was around 3 years ago. Since that time, we've added flights to other settlements, trade with frontier communities has never been easier. But that's enough about dirigibles. The Arch of Dawn awaits. I do have to say, Wuklamot, on this whole tour thing, you have done an awful good job of selling your brother as the one that should be taking over. So... I'm wondering if he's going to be one of those cases of he is entirely uninterested in that and just wants to study more stuff or something. This is it, the Arch of Dawn. When the Giants were still here, it was known as the Yoctoral Landgate. But when Papa founded Tulial, everyone just began using its present name in honor of his great achievement. Through this gate is Kosamuka, the wetlands south of the city. Depending on what the Rite of Succession asks of us, we might end up going in that direction. Kosamuka. The name alone is intriguing. Speaking of which, what were those fluffy animals we passed earlier? Ah, those are alpacas. Fearsome four-legged fiends. Fearsome. They seem quite placid to me. You'll learn soon enough, Kryl. You'll learn soon enough.
I had a bad experience.
Indeed. But forget the alpacas. I have something far more important to show you. Come along. And that look with Kryl just now was, she had a bad experience, didn't she?
Yeah.
If you wish to learn the history of Tulial, then look no further. Those stone pillars, you mean? What is special about these pillars, if I may ask? At a glance, they might look like ordinary stone decorations. But if you take a really good look, you'll see there's something much more interesting. The following event cannot be skipped. You may wish to cancel any pending duty finder registrations. I noticed one of them seemed to have been blanked out.
Mm-hmm.
Pictures? Wait. No, these are glyphs. They seem to tell a series of stories, many of them featuring a two-headed mumble jaw. Oh, then this must be... That's right. Follows the exploits of my father, Galul Jaja, and his journey to unite our lands. We call it the Tulial Saga. The deeds he performed and the bonds he forged, all immortalized in stone. There's no better way to learn how Tulial came to be. Study them as long as you like. I started with Lay of the Brotherhood. This pillar tells the Lay of the Brotherhood. It depicts the scene where Papa granted an audience to the former explorer, Ket something. I can never remember the name. You mean Ketterum? Kettenrum. Ah, that's the one. Kettenrum's arrival in Tyrol is what prompted Papa to embark on his own journey. It said the two grew to be close friends, brothers in spirit, if not in blood. But no one knows what became of the explorer in later years. Kettenrum's disappearance is a mystery in Eorzea as well. The records say he traveled between our lands and yours for a while, but then it's assumed he was lost at sea. Now I'm doing the Lay of Reeds. Here we have the Lay of Reeds. It's the story of when Papa visited the Hanu Hanu in their village of Kozomuka. Ah, the people Alphanode almost mistook for Vanu Vanu, if not for the colorful plumage. He spent a fair bit of time among the Vanu in the Sea of Clouds, so it's no surprise he took an interest in your countrymen. I don't know how it is with your Vanu, but our Hanu are a bright and cheerful sort. They hold this festival every year. Very famous, and a lot of fun. Lay of Repast next. This one recounts the Lay of Repast. As you could probably tell, the figure depicted here is Zabral, like me. For decades, the Zabral and the Mumble Jah were at war to control the forest of Yachtel. The actions Papa took to end the conflict that have since been hailed as the first steps in the founding of Tulial. There is a clan of Hrothgar and Bajja known as the Hellions. In their society, the women rule as queens, and the men serve as devoted subjects. Yet here in Tyrol, Zabral men and women appear to be of equal status. How dramatically culture can vary within a location. Let's see, this one is the Lay of Pots, which depicts the moblins of Kazumuka. They might wear odd masks and sound weirdly muffled when they talk, but the golden silverwork they sell is the best you'll find anywhere. Moblin goods are the standard when it comes to gift giving. Clearly the Vanu aren't the only people with the distant Turali counterparts. If you're done with the first half, we can move on to the second. And Lay of Gold. The Lay of Gold. This pillar shows one of the Pelu Pelu, whose homeland is in Urkrapacha. Having created our currency, the Pelu are rightfully known as the Merchant Clan. They oversee Tulial's markets, and their traveling peddlers are a common sight no matter where you go in Tural. Don't let their size fool you. They might be mistaken as children, but beneath those beaked masks, they are clever and calculating traders. Alright, Lay of Ice. Ah, this one is my favorite. The Lay of Ice. It depicts the battle with the legendary Tural Vidral, Valgarmunda. I should explain. A Tural Vidral is a creature that has lived far beyond its usual lifespan and awakened to preternatural power. Ah, like the animal spirits in Kugane. Tartaru described the Far Eastern auspices in a similar fashion. Could this be the same phenomenon? Valagarmondo itself was dubbed the Sky Ruin, a name earned from the destruction and terror it visited upon Tural every time it stirred from its slumber. But 80 years ago, its ruinous reign was brought to an end. After a great struggle, Papa and his comrades managed to overcome the raging Vidral and sealed it away in the Urkapacha Mountains. Despite its reputation, however, Valgarmanda is a symbol of power. That's why you see its likeness in Tulal's national emblem and adorning the banners at the palace. Lay of Proof. Ah, the Lay of Proof. That big fellow is a Yakhui, the largest of Tural's peoples. These giants once used their great size and strength to establish a dominion encompassing all of Yaktural. Having brought the southern reaches to heel, they then turned northwards, setting their sights on Zaktural. You'll recall the massive bridge they built above, beyond the Sky Gate. Sometime after launching their northern campaign, however, they just gave up. They abandoned the lands they conquered and withdrew into the mountains of Urkapacha. I've never seen any of their kind so much as set foot in the city. This was a people with the power and resourcefulness to raise a temple on a mountaintop and build a bridge across the sea with stone. What would move them to renounce their ambition and their place in Turali history? And the blank pillar. Oh, this one is unmarked. Papa says he left a blank pillar for the next chapter in Tuluia's history, whatever that may be. Had your fill of history then? Yep, we're good. Glad to hear it. You know, I feel awful hungry all of a sudden. No surprises there, seeing I couldn't keep anything down for a while. But now I'm ready to eat again. So, let's go have ourselves a bite of a local delicacy. Come, I'll take you to the best restaurant in the city. I like the sound of that.
I'll be disappointed if it's not tacos.
There's Nathrite over here. And apparently there's a quest to give her over here for some reason, because that's a lot of people.
It is.
Go grab this aetherite over here. That might be the last one. Now there's one more over on the far east.
Nice.
Have you ever had tacos? They're a Talali classic. You bake a crunchy shell made out of corn flour and fill it with meat and salad. A lot of the shops and stalls sell them, but I like how they're made here at Zabalyav. And I need one right in front of me right now. Let's head downstairs and place an order with old Brook Evu.
Brook Evo! My companions must sample your heavenly tacos. One for each of us, please.
Right away, promise. And I'll pack them tight with my choicest feelings. Only the best for you and your friends.
I have noticed the Rothgar of Tural have a lot of pink in them.
Did you
Yeah, I
hear the
was just-
silver scales are back?
Colors.
Seems their overseas foray ended in disaster. More than half their warband is missing, including their leader.
Aye. And now keen to rebuild their broken reputations, the survivors seek the Golden City. A fool's errand. How many hopefuls have disappeared in search of that fable? They should come.
Didn't mean to skip that.
The legend of the Golden City is well known here, I take it.
It is, but as no one's ever seen it, many question if there is any truth to the tale. Like our skeptical Erinville.
I can't imagine the Dawn Servant would request a formal survey for a place that doesn't exist.
I have theories.
Now to find a spot with a pleasant view to enjoy our crunchy spoils. Oh! Oh!
If it isn't the third promise.
Oh! No.
I don't know these ones. New salt.
Dredge from foreign waters is my guess, brother.
Of course, that's it. Wuklamat is so afraid of the coming contest that she went crying for special help.
Was there something you wanted, Bakul Jaja?
The third promise remembers us! Such an honor.
Glory on your name, brother. And on yours, brother.
I know my rivals for the throne. Nothing more.
Another child of the Dawn Servant?
No, this brute.
We have no ties to their farce of a family. Unlike the sneevling house cat, we are blessed siblings, the elevated chosen. We alone are fit to succeed Golul Jaja as Dawn Servant.
All peoples are equal in Tulihiola. Your heritage gives you no greater claim to the throne.
Ha! Shall we test that idea here and now? See if your strength is equal to ours.
None of this has any bearing on the right of succession, correct? Best not waste your energies on pointless scuffles.
The kitten comes to the house cat's defense. Pathetic. Since when was our nation overrun by mewling weaklings?
Listen to me, you.
A two-headed Mamulja. I knew of them, but that's the first I've seen in the flesh.
Some get it into their twin heads that they're destined to follow in my father's footsteps. So they travel to distant lands to hone their battlecraft. Those are likely the ones you've heard about.
Are there other two-headed claimants?
No, just Bakul Jaja. Even in Tural, his kind are far from common. The Mamulja people largely belong to one of three clans. The Hubigo, the Bunewa, and the Dopro. Every once in a great while, a two-headed offspring is born from a union between the brown-scaled Hubigo and the blue-scaled Bunewa. The child grows to possess immense strength, both physical and magical.
Blessed siblings indeed.
Forget them. Let's go and buy more tacos. I can think of nothing better to rid me of this bad taste in my mouth.
Enjoying your tour of the city, I trust. We've seen our share of notable sights and took a moment to rest. As such, we're ready to present ourselves at the palace for the rite of succession. Shall we meet you there?
The palace it is. I'll let Wuklamart know. Destiny calls. Perhaps we can return for more tacos later?
So it goes.
I like how Crow pronounces tacos.
Uh-huh. I liked the little detail at the end of Wuklamat walking over and picking up the crushed bag.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I now have a theory. There's the story of the Golden City. Like, why would he order an expedition to a place that doesn't exist? My theory is he sent Kral's grandfather to find it, he found it, and then they both decided to hide it. For reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking forward to trying some authentic Tulal cuisine, but we should hurry and join Alphinaud and the others at the palace. Alright, it's a bit of a climb to the top, but you can head up from the Resplendent Quarter or even the eastern side of Talonmarch if you prefer. Now that you have an idea of how the city's laid out, I'll let you find your own way to Voloxunsa. Ah, my poor empty belly. I think I'm going to head over and pick up the last Aetheryte. I guess this is the crafting quarter or something. Since there appears to be the retainer bell here.
FYI, Kath, I just jumped off of a building and it hurt.
Good to know.
It always hurts. It just you don't die.
It took a chunk of health, and so I was like, okay, maybe that changed. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh, the whole remix over in WoW has messed me up. I haven't gotten Keth killed by jumping off stuff, but he's gotten hurt pretty bad a couple times.
Yeah, it is a luxury that you got to keep in mind. It's only for that.
I just noticed the little hitbox indicators under their feet have little new directional arrows.
Larger than
where
they
they're
used to be,
facing, yeah.
Yeah.
Arrows.
You made it. Good. Then we're all here. I'm still hungry enough to eat a whole roasted colibri, but the contest won't wait for us forever. On speaking with Erenville, several cutscenes will play in sequence. It is recommended that you set aside sufficient time to view these scenes in their entirety. Wow, they normally don't hit us with one of those this early in the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
I've acquainted the twins with the city as best I could in a short time. Their unbridled enthusiasm made it rather difficult. Invariably, something would catch their eye, spur them to run down an alley to investigate. It's like herding a pair of unruly squirrels. I understand all too well. Charlian had the same effect on me. Right then. Now it's time we saw the inside of the palace. Papa will want to know I'm home and meet the allies I've chosen. Given how impulsive he is, though, there's no telling what we might be in for.
Hello, Estinian.
Is he wearing a new set of armor? Or is it just shinier than it used to be?
Estinian? When did he get here?
More to the point, why is he here?
Oh, you know this man? Whenever my father spots a promising opponent, he invites them to Sunperch to duel. Pressing duties or no, he can't resist a good fight.
So the one Estinian is crossing blades with.
That will do, Spearman. I will receive my darling daughter. Know that you are the strongest I fought in many a moon, if not longer. It is the privilege of a life long lived to face such a formidable soul.
If it's formidable you want, then look no further than that man there.
I see you, warrior.
We had no idea you meant to visit Tyrrell.
I've seen what lies east. This time I chose west.
And thus did our itinerant dragoon make his travel plans.
You witnessed our bout. If you thought he was fearsome, that was with one head dozing.
I'm not sure I understand.
The old man has been feeling his years. The uncovered side is the head of resolve, and age has only deepened his love for combat. But the head of reason, wiser of the two, sleeps more and more these days. As I understand it, the veil helps with the restoration of his magical energies.
Enough about me, Lamati. I want to hear of your adventures.
Lamachi.
A term of endearment. It's what my family calls me.
Oh. When last did we see you in the palace? Greetings, Solonesh.
It's Erenville now, Don Servant. I took the name while abroad. and have since grown accustomed to it.
Aranville, then. And these others? I assume are Lamati's recruited allies. Ha! Old-tempered steel. Yet as much as I'd enjoy testing their metal, the hour of the right is at hand. I will summon the other claimants at once.
Then I shall leave you to it. Good fortune, my friends.
The claimants are assembled. The first promise, Zorolja. The second promise, Gona. The third promise, Uklamat. And lastly, the chosen of Mamuk, Bakul Jaja. You four will compete in the rite of succession, the outcome of which will decide who takes my place as Dawn Servant. I am not the man I once was. My wiser half sleeps the days away, and it is time I yield my position. But mine is a torch that has never been passed. Tuliyola is young, and so I look to the always for inspiration. The rite of succession, the means by which the autarch of Mamuk was chosen. Only the two-headed were deemed fit for this contest. But the Tuliyola I built is a nation of many peoples. Our leader needn't have two heads, nor be a Mamulja at all. So I gave the right of claimant not only to the son I sired, but to my adopted children as well. Yet the opportunity to rule was still not equal. That is why a recent tournament offered a place in the contest as the winning prize.
Now you have us to compete against. Though it seems the One-Head was already too afraid to face us in the tournament.
Our brother was in Shock Tural leading the Landsguard on a campaign to eradicate a Tural Vidral. Anyone with sense would know he was too busy for games.
Now for the part you've been waiting to hear. The nature of the contest itself. To triumph in the right of succession, and thereby claim our nation's throne, you must travel the lands of Yogg-Tural and find the City of Gold.
If I may, Father.
Speak, Kona.
The Golden City is an ancient Turali legend, but after so many failed attempts to find it, the story has become more fairy tale than fact. If you would charge us with such a quest, are we then to assume you have proof of the city's existence?
I offer us proof, my unbroken word, for I have seen it with my own 4 eyes.
The city's real. All those years.
This was before the founding of Tuliyollal. I traveled the lands of Tural with my companions, and we ended our journey at the gates to the Golden City. I mean to have you do the same, but in order to achieve victory proper, you'll need to break the seal I put in place. Bring them.
The Tuliyollal saga.
You will retrace the path I walked to unite our peoples, step by step. Along the way, 7 chosen electors will be waiting to measure your worth. Earn their keystones by performing the feats they ask of you. Once you've fitted each of the 7 tablets with the keystone, you'll have the key to unlock the seal on the Golden City's gates.
So the contest is in stages, none of which can be skipped by rushing to the ultimate objective.
Exactly. Exciting, isn't it?
Martial tournaments, hunting festivals, and now this? You do so love your contests, Papa.
Were I a few years younger, I would have joined in myself, giving you a proper challenge. You may think the ride is tedious or nonsensical, or both, but I am yielding our nation's throne. Let me have this final indulgence.
A waste of time. Just name Bakunja as successor and be done with it.
The rite of succession begins now. I'll be watching you progress with great interest. And Clement, remember to collect your tablets before you leave. You are one of Lamachi's allies. Speak freely.
I am Kryl Baldessian, representative of the students of Baldessian. My name is perhaps familiar to you?
Ah.
It would seem you sent this letter to my orders some years ago. The ink has since faded and much of the writing is illegible. Even so, we managed to determine the essence of it. A request to investigate the Golden City, addressed to my grandfather, Galuf. Included with the correspondence was this earring. A fairy tale and a piece of jewelry were enough to convince my grandfather to sail halfway across the world. So there is surely some greater mystery at work here. On behalf of the students, I've come to seek clarification on the matter. Have you any knowledge you might share with me?
No, not at this time. I have tasked the claimants with finding the Golden City. To fulfill your request would afford one of them an unfair advantage in the right of succession. But once the contest is decided, I plan to entrust the entire truth to my successor. If you want to hear it, then you had best help Lamachi win.
Very well, Dawn Servant. On my honor as a student of Baldessian, I will find your Golden City. Thank you for hearing my petition.
How about that? She's grown into a remarkable young woman. You should be proud, Galuf.
Too late to change your mind now, I suppose. But are you sure you wish to be part of this? Our third promise is not wont to take no for an answer. Though you may have agreed to help, I worry that you were swept up in her relentless enthusiasm. Or perhaps you've been lured by the glory of the Golden City. Either way, this contest for the throne will place you and yours at the heart of... If you are second-guessing your decision, tell me now. This may be my last chance to help you withdraw.
Life is a series of journeys, my friend. And there's no telling what awaits us on the long road. But what's important is to be true to yourself as you walk it. Only then can we hope to be content when we arrive at the end of one and step forward into another.
So you are committed to your path? As
Didn't mean
for
to
my
skip
own
that.
involvement, I can no longer conduct myself as a mere guide, I think. Not after the Dawn Servant's revelation.
Here they come!
It's Saralja!
Such a fearsome mien. Make no mistake, there goes Tuliola's mightiest warrior.
First promise, our village needs aid. The cold weather stunts our crops, and the children of our village go hungry. Once you ascend the throne, I beg of you, grant my people new lands, please!
Serelja,
Take heart, tiller of the soil. The resilient son, blood heir to the Dawn Servant, has heard your pleas.
Soralja, the first promise and commander of the Landsguard. Sarelja, the palace seer. As he was so careful to remind the crowd, Soralja is indeed the natural child of Gulul Jaja.
And Resilient Son. Is that another title, like the first promise?
After a fashion. Common knowledge has it that two-headed Mamulja cannot sire children. Yet Soralja was born all the same, with the head of Resolve's features and the head of Reason's scales. An extraordinary example of life's unyielding resilience.
And a warrior's reticence. He says little, but the way he moves... I know a hardened soldier when I see one.
He's a natural swordsman, a gift he inherited from his father. Some even say that the son has already surpassed the sire. Should he come to power, the first promise means to employ that martial prowess in the conquest of foreign lands. For this, he and his supporters have been labeled expansionists. This puts him in direct opposition to Wuklamat, who advocates for the preservation of peace. You may recall that she spoke of a claimant who cannot be allowed to rule. That is Soralja, the warmonger.
Kryl?
The echo. It gave me a glimpse into Zoralja's ambitions, deep and unknowable, like an abyss. Yet at the same time, a roaring, unquenchable fire. It was a trifle terrifying, to be frank.
Second promise! You must bring us more marvelous conveniences! More dirigibles and trains and the like. We need you in charge to make trading easier.
The elders, they complain about abandoning tradition. But we're not like them, afraid of everything foreign and new.
You have our wholehearted support. With your ingenuity and knowledge, you're sure to win the contest.
Forgive me, but the rite of succession is barely begun. I will hear your petitions if and when I am named Dawn Servant. If you will excuse me.
Plain spoken, as always.
That's Arcona. Practical to a fault.
Here we have Kona, the second promise, who spent time as a pupil at Sharlian's own studium.
Now that you mention it, I think I did see him in the halls once or twice. There was nothing to suggest he was Turali, much less from a royal family.
That was by design. He forwent his usual garb and took an Eorzean name to avoid attention.
So it was Kona who introduced the dirigibles. And the railway too, given what we just heard.
In furtherance of his goal, to enrich Tuliolal with every bright notion he learned of in Sharlian. He is the hope of those who prize innovation. As aloof as he may seem, Kona and Wuklamat actually get along rather well. They bicker and banter as only close siblings do.
How gracious of you all to cheer the lesser claimants. Oh, come now. What are you afraid of? I'm no different from your Dawn servant. That my kind should reign is Mamulja tradition, and has been so since before there was a Tuliyola. I'll brush aside your feeble contenders. And then you'll see who deserves your fealty.
Well said.
The Mamulja have finally found peace in Tuliolal. A pity those fanatics are intent on keeping that tradition alive.
The chosen of Mamuk, Bakul Jaja, winner of the recent martial tournament, and the only claimant not of the Dawn's promise. His strength is undeniable, but you see how he is. A few devoted Mamulja are his only supporters.
What would he do with the throne should he win it?
His policies and so forth. I doubt he's thought much beyond winning the contest itself, but one thing seems certain. If he does become Dawn Servant, he will see the Mamulja exalted as the ruling class, and all others forced into subservience.
Sounds like another that cannot be allowed to rule.
We wish for one thing and one thing only, Third Promise. To abide together in harmony with our neighbors whom we love in this land we share. It is our way, the Turoli way.
Galul Jaja built for us this peaceful nation, and we beg you to preserve it.
You have my word. I won't let your pleas go unanswered.
Until Tuliolal was founded some 80 years ago, this continent was ravaged by war. The eldest among us remember that dark era, and they are Wuklamat's most ardent supporters.
Apologies. It's hard to get away. This is Namika, my childhood nursemaid. She's been like a mother to me my whole life. I told her it wasn't necessary, but she insisted on seeing us off.
I place our precious Third Promise into your care.
Did you know Wuklamat was taking part in the rite of succession?
Of the Dawn's Promise, I thought it was only Zoralja and Kona. If she has any accomplishments to her name, I've yet to hear them.
Compared to the two Mamulja, she pales in martial prowess. And then there's Kona, who's far and away the most educated of the bunch. I hate to say it, but it's hardly a competition.
It's fine. More than anyone. I understand how much better my brothers are than me.
Better? Wuklamat, I have never thought of you as the lesser sibling. Your brothers may excel in their respective ways, but you boast qualities that both lack. A strength that is yours alone. Having cared for you for so long, I should know.
Thank you, Namika. Well, we ought to be on our way.
Yes, hurry along. I await word of your victory with bated breath.
Well, I guess we can gather who hired Thancred and Urianger. The one claimant that didn't show who is helping them.
Yeah.
Right. Those backstabbing bastards. Just
Well, so much for the brief reunion I had in mind. Papa is not one to waste time when he decides to act. I'm used to it by now, of course, but others are often caught off guard. In any case, we should talk about how we're going to find the City of Gold. All we have to work with are the 7 tablets and their connection to the Tuliala saga. Might I suggest first comparing the tablets against the pillars? We could check for any discrepancies between them. Good idea. Let's go and take a look. First question is, do we wish to continue tonight, or do we want to call it here? It is getting pretty late.
I don't have a preference. Zora?
I don't either.
We can press on a little further.
Zora's the one that came. Do you think we could talk Keth into doing like early? Like a few days ago?
That makes everyone. Muklamant, the tablets, if you would. Of course. Everyone has a tablet? Then let's compare them to their respective pillars. Keep an eye out for even the smallest differences. Unless I'm missing something, the glyphs appear to be identical. The only difference being the tablets have hollows where the keystones are to be fitted. So now that we've established that the scenes are the same, where do we go from here? The Dawn Servant said we should retrace the path he walked with uniting Tyrall's peoples, and that we would encounter 7 electors along the way. Then we have the answer here in front of us. Papa's path is laid out in the Tyrell saga. The events the glyphs portray, do we know the exact locations where they took place? If one is close, we should go there and search for an elector. That would confirm we're on the right track. Let me think. The Lay of Reeds was in the nearby Hanu Hanu settlement. Papa took me there once. It was during festival season, and the whole village was alive with good cheer. There's also the Lay of Gold. That one involved the Pelo Pelo village, which is about the same distance from here. Before going anywhere, we should ask around about the road ahead. I heard a lot of talk as we toured the city about the storm we passed through at sea. Apparently it ravaged Yaktaral several days ago. Since our roads are not as well paved as Eorzea's, they are more susceptible to damage from natural disasters. If we want to avoid wasting time taking a dead-end trail, I suggest we spend a few moments making inquiries. If it's information we need, just leave it to me. I'll bring the information to us. It would be prudent to ensure we're prepared for the journey. I'll guide you to the accommodations I've arranged. That's right. The reservation is under Wuklamat's name. If you don't mind, I'll leave my companions to you. Certainly, sir. I'll go and track down the third promise. Once you've finished organizing your gear, you can meet us at Zablavite. I have no idea how to pronounce that still. Greetings, visitors to Tulialal, and welcome to the Ford Cabins. Whenever you are ready, I will show you to your rooms. Well, let's see what our inn rooms look like.
I'm glad you suggested it.
These might be the biggest inn rooms we've had.
Oh, wow. There's like a beach view and all. I like these.
Mm-hmm. And in other rooms, we have had bed. In this one, we have comfy feather bed.
Mm-hmm.
I always find it funny when I see someone with the fashion leader title attached, particularly when they're in Naked Catman. Trust you to be the keenest to head out. Where Arenvel and Wuklamot, I wonder. Ah, good, you're all here. And who might your companions be? Seeing as we needed information, I thought who better to get it from than the locals. These two hail from the villages we're thinking to visit. I give you credit for taking initiative, at least. What do you mean, at least? I am honored that the third promise would seek my advice. I, too, am happy to answer your questions, and any encounter might be an opportunity to do business. Thank you both for your help. Before we begin, there will doubtless be other occasions when we need to act independently, so I brought these for the two of you. What's this? It's called a link pearl, a gemstone harvested from a special shell. When linked together, they allow people to communicate across great distances. Is that so? What a handy thing to have. Be very useful in our travels. Speaking of which, I should get back to introducing my two new friends here. The Tulial saga features a number of Tiral's clans. Two of those, the Hanu Hanu and the Pelu Pelu, have settlements relatively close to the city, so I brought a representative from each. As I mentioned before, the Hanu are a cheerful people who love their festivals. They make their appearance in the Lay of Reeds, and their home village, Okanu, is located in Kazamuka. The other, smaller fellow is one of the Pelu, a clan with business-minded folk from the Orkopaka. They appear in the Lay of Gold and craft all kinds of marvelous goods in Washapelo, their village. Now, as for deciding which village to visit first, why don't you put your adventurer's instincts of yours to work for us? Pick our destination. Upon completing this quest, the main scenario will branch into two quest paths. Accepting the quest from the helpful Hanu will temporarily prevent you from accepting the quest from the approachable Pelu, and vice versa. The second quest path will become available from the respective NPC once you have completed the series of quests from the first path. Furthermore, story elements and quest rewards will not be affected by your initial choice of path. Speak with the NPC you prefer and embark on the trail for the rite of succession. So, which of the two do we want to do first, I guess you should say?
I vote bird.
That works.
Alright, bird it is. The quest to 2 Orcapacha will become available once you have completed the quest series, beginning with the helpful Hanu. So what is it you would like to know? The route to Okahanu. We go south through the Arch of Dawn, then follow the road which runs along the Kozamuka River. Is that right? It is. Be warned, however, my brethren tell me the recent storm has rendered the path even muddier than usual. The footing is quite poor in some parts. Far worse was the destruction visited upon our homes, though. Houses were torn apart and several people injured, if not killed. Even our beloved festival is in danger of being called off this year. If you do still plan on going, I must urge you proceed with caution. We'll be sure to watch our footing. Thank you. Now I'm worried for the Hanu. It sounds like they were hit hard by the storm. Anyway, if we're bound to Kosamuka, we should head over to the arch. We'll be back to talk to you in good time, Master Merchant. Meanwhile, you can eat and drink your fill at Zablov tea until all is arranged. Hey, could you come and help us with this thing? Okay, I'm gonna need you to stand right here, and I'll be back.
Don't move.
Alright, what is this purple quest? I don't know. Probably to unlock hunts. What with the title being that. So, might as well accept it, I guess. Probably not going to read it, though. Yeah, this is probably unlocking hunts. Which we might as well do, because we almost never do hunts. Possibly because we don't bother unlocking them until we're in patch content.
Inadvertently, we might complete something.
Indeed. Of course, that also means we're probably going to have a bunch of new zones that we're going to have to do like 90 fates in.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I think they've updated Alphino and Alizé's models just slightly. In that I think they're taking the fact that Alizé is wearing heels into account. Because she seems to be just slightly taller than Alphino.
Mm-hmm.
Are we all ready to leave? Then, onward to Kosamuka. Open the way. Gate looks open to me, Wuklamot.
Kosamauka, the land of rainbow terraces. It commands the gaze of all who visit without fail. The many-colored marvel. An endless torrent of water cascades over sheer cliffs to shape the wetlands below. To its relentless flow, all life must yield. Together with Wuklamat, we proceeded along the Marsi Trail, a road upon which the Dawn Servant and his comrades once traveled.
Look at those falls. Even from this distance, you can feel the weight of that water. The Isle of Ham was impressive, but as you can see, Tulihiola does not want for natural wonders.
The ground is swampy, so watch your step. You wouldn't want to fall into a bog.
I won't. I told you I've been here before. Come on. Okanu isn't much farther.
Okay, that was funny. While you guys were in the cutscene, your umbrellas did not deploy. But as soon as you exited the cutscene, your umbrellas deployed.
Yeah.
The old dude there, or the brother, was telling us, not her, because we're not from here. We don't know about the open bogs. That's what I thought was.
There is no stopping the third promise, is there? Good thing she has Erenville to keep her from getting lost. For all his grumbling, he's certainly there for her. Everyone should be so lucky to have such a loyal childhood friend. Right, let's get moving. If we continue along this road, we should find ourselves in the village before long.
We should watch for aether currents too.
True. Actually, that's something I should probably check. How many of them there are. If I can remember where that information is even hidden. Ah, there we are. Apparently haven't unlocked the ability to get them yet. Ah, everyone has arrived, and none the worse for wear, except for a certain third promise who slipped in the mud despite my explicit warnings. Hey, I asked you not to say anything. Anyway, this is the Hanu Hanu village I was talking about, Okadu. Now we can collect it. Or, well, I thought that's what that said. Or maybe it's just that you can unlock the Ethernet, or the Ether thing. I don't know. Like our friend said, the people are in no mood for festivities. I can only assume they are still recovering from the damage wrought by the storm. Indeed. Well, let's do what we came to do and find this elector. Ohokali. What now? It's a Hanu greeting. Surely you heard it last time you were here. Well, I was busy enjoying the festival. Greetings to the third promise and her entourage. I, Zanuhali, welcome you to Okohanu. As elder of my people, I shall be fulfilling the duties of elector during the rite of succession. So our idea about the electors was correct. We just do as Papa said and retrace his path from the saga. Ready. Give me the feat and test my worth. All in good time, all in good time. In fact, I came to let you know that we are not quite ready to begin. For the moment, please enjoy the hospitality of our village. Should we poke around a bit, then? We might pick up some clues about the feat. And, you know, prepare ourselves. That's surprisingly prudent of you. What? You think I'm being too cautious? No, I'm impressed is all. You admire and respect your father, who is prone to decisive action. So I expected you to rush in first and ask questions later. Or never. I do look up to Papa, but you should know that he has his pragmatic side too. The head of reason is the thinker who takes time to consider all the possibilities. With the long naps he takes these days, though, the head of resolve is less restrained by his wisdom. I can't fault you for thinking that's all there is to him. But there's more to the Dawn Servant you've seen thus far. I should like to speak with the head of reason one day. Well, I'm sure you'll catch him awake soon enough. To return to the subject at hand, you wish to take a look at around Okuhanu then. Do some groundwork before the feat begins. Something like that. I mean, I could probably pass this test with my eyes closed, but it'll keep us busy while we're waiting. Uklamat has the right of it. As Elder Zanuhali is resident of the village, learning more about it can only improve our chances in the feat. Might I suggest a division of forces? For instance, Aaronville, Alizé, and Kryl, you can continue to the southern half of the settlement, while the rest of us will handle the northern half. Sounds good to me. And we have gemstone traders. And apparently our gemstones do carry over. Well, I don't think we need any of this stuff at the moment.
Yet, anyway.
Although I guess if you decide to start crafting stuff, KJ, you might need some of the materials they sell. You heard about the storm. I've never seen the likes of it before. With the supplies and the help the Dawn servants sent, we're making progress repairing and rebuilding our homes. But while roofs and walls can be patched, there's so much else that was lost for good. The gaping hole in the wall and missing portion of the roof are clearly the work of the storm's powerful winds. Repairs appear to be ongoing. It is also an egg.
As it should be.
Indeed.
With the straw roof.
A lot of houses are still damaged, and the Hanu I've spoken to are not their usual cheery selves. That storm broke more than the wood and reeds. There must be something I can do to help them. I'm going to look around a bit.
Zora, did you change your Chocobo's outfit so it looks like he has a raincoat on?
Yep.
It's so cute!
She was getting wet.
Getting her feathers all mushy.
Mm-hmm.
The dry and shrunken bundles suggest the reeds were harvested some time ago. Maybe jumping off was the wrong decision. Woven from reeds, this boat-like vessel is reminiscent of a bird. The beak and feather tail in particular stand out. This boat must have been woven from the same reeds I've seen gathered into bundles here and there. The plants hold both practical and cultural significance to the Hanu, then. Hello, can you hear me? I'm told they're ready to receive us now. Come to the large building in the south of the village. On my way. We ought to hurry over too.
No sign of Zorolja or that oversized lout.
How much easier it would be if Soralja were to fail here. But that isn't likely to happen.
Honored guests, I am Zanuhali, Elder of the Hanu. I am also an elector, charged with judging which among you is worthy of ascending the throne. Without further ado, let us talk of the feat.
Not so fast. Surely you couldn't begin without us.
You made it after all.
No need to fuss. There is no time limit for this challenge. Now, if you would allow me to proceed. It is here, in Okanu, where my people forged a bond with the Dawn Servant during our own chapter of the Tuli Yolal saga. In homage to those events, I have prepared for you the Feat of Reeds.
Reeds seem to be of great importance to the Hanu. I wonder what this feat entails.
We use reeds in every part of our lives, be it as food or weaving material. But look around the nearby paddies, and you will see that this season, our crops are failing. How fortunate, then, that my appointment to Elector coincided with this predicament. For surely, those who aspire to be Dawn Servant would find the matter of an ailing harvest a mere trifle to resolve.
Aye, well, it is indeed the duty of a ruler to address the people's woes.
Exactly, exactly. Do well in this, and you will earn my keystone.
Why bother mucking about in the mud when we can take the stone by force?
Oh, mercy me! You are a hot-headed fellow, Bakul Jaja. Some electors may enjoy going toe-to-toe with scrappers like you, but I refuse to entertain your base instincts. Arrangements have been made. Should you attempt to engage a feat giver in combat without their consent, word of your immediate disqualification will be sent to the palace. If you're still feeling feisty, then by all means, draw your weapon.
This contest is presided over by cowards. There's no sport in fighting you.
Then we can return to the business of earning my keystone. The Feat of Reeds is begun. Claimants, I wish you the best of luck.
The clever kitty crossed the seas to study foreign novelties. He might know tricks we don't. Tricks we can use.
What of Little Miss Mittens?
You know the answer to that. Compared to the first and second promise, she's a distant third. Not even in the running.
Then we see eye to eye on this, brother. Being Bakul Jaja so long with me has rubbed off on you. These allies of hers, though, they might be a problem.
Damn it! I'm just as qualified to be here as they are. I'll show them.
Easy now. There's no time limit, remember? Let's keep calm and think things through.
Right. You're right. I won't win against that lumbering Vidrol by losing my head.
It's much nicer now that the rain has stopped.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the first thing about farming, but if there's a way to save the harvest and help the Hanu, we're gonna find it. I'll make Bakul Jaja eat his words. Understanding the nature of the problem will be the key to solving it. We need to examine the reeds themselves, and then deduce the cause of their poor condition. Aaronville, will you take us to the fields where the reeds are grown? Of course. Follow me. Okay, that just looked like a typo. You can all stand back. I'll get to the bottom of this problem in no time. Give me strength. Let's all of us scour the fields and help our bold leader identify anything unusual. As Zanahali described, the reeds appear to be wilted and unhealthy. The water contains no obvious contaminants. Looks fresh and clear at a cursory glance. The soil in the paddies is as one would expect, rich in color and suitably moist, not dry nor flaky. A small frog catches your eye, strangely lackadaisical. It doesn't even appear to be to hop when it eventually scurries away. Seen enough? I'll call everyone together and we can share our discoveries. Well, what do we think? Any obvious problems? I agree. The waters look to be of good quality, as does the mud in which the reeds have been planted. The frogs and insects are unusually torpid. This suggests the problem is affecting not only the reeds, but also the creatures which live among them. Could something invisible to the naked eye be polluting the water? We would need an alchemist to know for certain. I don't have much to add about the fields, but something else occurs to me. When you were describing how the creatures seemed lifeless, I couldn't help being reminded of all the listless villagers. They've suffered a terrible tragedy, I know, but there is another reason for their flagging spirits, I believe. Go on. The festival. This is traditionally an occasion for celebration and renewal, so without it the Hanu are struggling even more to recover. The last time I visited the village was in the middle of the festivities. You'll never see the Hanu more joyful and alive. It's an indispensable part of their culture, and its absence will only compound their woes. So I say we help them put on their festival. Give them a reason to cheer in these sad times. Who knows? Maybe fixing one problem could lead to a solution for the other. I don't know about that. Is it so strange an idea? I also failed to see the relation between festivals and fields. Let's not be too hasty in dismissing the idea. Things which seem unrelated can later prove to be connected in surprising ways. True, and being bereft of ideas as we are, any proposal is worth entertaining. Suppose? Besides, this is Wu Klamat's journey. It's only right we follow her lead. Thanks, everyone. By the way, does anyone know where the festival float is? It's like a boat, woven from reeds, and looks like a bird. In that big building to the north? Let's go and see it. There's much less debate when I'm traveling alone. Well, that just means you're too decisive, Erenville. You should be arguing with yourself. Oh, I was waiting for Zora to get out of the cutscene, but I see she's hit it. She's she was ahead of us.
Yep, sorry.
No problem.
I was gonna say she left us in the dust or in the mud.
Kitty run.
Even the lanterns are eggs. Yes, this is the float I remember. Does it not appear somewhat damaged to you? We should take a closer look. Inspect the festival float. You may okay, it's one of those.
Is it as disturbing for you as it is for me that those are eggs and they're actually bird people? And so it's a hollowed out egg. Does that mean the egg was it was born or what?
I think it's just shaped
Just
like
saying.
an egg.
Okay.
And the damage appears to be the eyeball, a board on the left side, and the tail feathers. Well, I think we can all agree this bird boat is in dire need of repairs. Now, how do we go about fixing it? What is going on here? We're admiring your festival float. 'Tis a shame it's in such poor state. Due to the recent storm, I gather? Yes, we had to leave it exposed while we ushered our people to safety. With the float in this condition, there can be no lifting of wings. No ihilahana. Ihilahana? That's what the festival is called. I want to help you hold it. Have you not seen our village? Homes are ruined. We're struggling to make repairs, and you want us to hold a harvest festival? I know how it sounds, but giving into misery never improved anyone's situation. A celebration of life and growth may help give you strength to work through this tragedy. The role of the festival's leader is mine this year, and there's nothing I would like more than to lift everyone's spirits. But we don't even have enough materials to repair this float. We need a bohija for its eye, for the missing eye, Oyipo water for the poles, and feathers from the winds chosen to adorn the tail. Two of these I know. Obokisa is a type of precious stone used in arcane equipment, and Oyipo wood is essential for crafting ceremonial instruments. The chosen's feathers, however. The winds chosen is the victor of the competition, in which the contestants see who can blow a feather the furthest using wind magics. And that's something of a problem right now. We Hanu are gifted at employing such airy sorceries, but expend a great deal of mana when doing so. We are soon exhausted by the effort, and having no reeds to eat will only make it harder. I think I understand. Your vibrant reeds grow quickly and vigorously, so much so that they stifle the development of nearby plants. They must be a potent source of energies you naturally lack. They are indeed. Owing to the poor harvest this year, we've been left inebriated and enervated. And if we cannot gather the correct materials as dictated by custom, we cannot repair this festival float. Oddly enough, we may have just stumbled upon our solution. The winds chosen would, by necessity, have a natural gift for manipulating magical energies, which means any feathers taken from the victor should be high in ethereal conductivity. The float's construction also requires a stone used in arcane equipment, as well as a timber favored for ceremonial tools. The demand for such specific materials must have an underlying reason. The float might also function as an arcane device. Precisely what I was thinking. This boat of reeds is in fact an arcane focus of some kind. Focus? For what? Oh, Ihiana is a harvest festival, isn't it? That must mean the float was made to encourage healthy crops. So if we repair the boat and hold the festival, its arcane powers might fix what's wrong with the reeds? We won't know until we try, but 'tis a sound theory. Celebration, prayer, and ritual ceremonies, these have all been known to elicit miraculous effects. Wait, the float is a tool for magic? This is the first I'm hearing of it. In the beginning, it may not have been. After a good harvest year, there would have been no reason to change it. But when the harvest was poor, new adornments were likely added, and those who performed the labor may have imbued their work with ardent hopes for a brighter future. Through the years of trial and error, the Hano would have refined the festival focus into a festival float into a focus for harvest prayers. Incredible. You're getting awful close to primal talk there, Alpha Node.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're practically fainting from hunger, but reviving Ihahana really does sound like the solution to all our woes. And I promise we'll do everything in our power to help you. I'm still not convinced about this focus business, but I accept your aid nonetheless. I will introduce you to the shipwright who has been maintaining the float these last few years. He's replaced both the eyes and the poles before, so he should know where then how to procure what we need. Then allow Alize and I to acquire the feathers. We will encourage the people of Akuhanu to gather and vie for the title of Winds Chosen by sharing with them our own reserves of mana. I'll go with you. I carry some alchemical brews that may afford the same effect. Three of us will visit the shipwright then. Not without me. I've worked hard to fix the float as best I can, and the responsibility is mine after all. I've not introduced myself, have I? My name is Linuhanu. Nice to meet you, Linuhanu. And certainly, let's all go together. Thanks to Wuk Lamont, we found ourselves a promising way forward. Experience and knowledge are valuable assets, and there is something to be said for following one's instincts. Alright guys, I think I'm probably going to have to call it here.
Alright.
It is a little after 1 a.m. for me.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Alright, just 1 second. I'll find down the stream. Alright, guys. That's where I'm going to call it for tonight. And I will be back sometime next week. Possibly Tuesday. If not Tuesday, then Thursday. So, until then, I want to thank y'all for joining me. I hope y'all enjoyed it. I'll see y'all next time. And have a good night.